enough. And we shared that love is possible in your mature years. But today, we wanted to give our men a chance to speak up, to weigh in, to voice their opinions on what mature men are looking for in the dating world, and what they're looking for in a potential partner. So no pressure, guys, but we just we want you guys to be candid and just tell us your thoughts. So we're going to get into it. We have Sheila Agnew McCoy and her husband Danel McCoy. Would you guys wave?
Hey guys.
Thank you guys for being here. We have Tracy Byerly and Frederick Byerly. Would you guys wave? And it's me, Adelina,
and David
Piper. So we're just gonna get right into it. So Sheila and Dano, take it.
Let's go for it. Hey, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. We've been planning to do this for a while, and we're happy to do this a couple of days before Valentine's Day, right? Well, my story is my husband and I, Dano and I, we met 18 years ago, and we dated long distance for 5 years. I know that's not popular with a lot of people to date long distance, but it worked for us. And after 5 years, my husband did something really different. He had invited me to his home in Atlanta, and he had the justice of peace come to the door. And he asked me to get the door when he came to the door. And he said, "Is your name Sheila Agnew?" And I almost didn't answer because I started thinking, do I owe the IRS or anybody, you know? So wait a minute. He said, "I'm here to marry you." So our neighbor from down the street was the witness, and that's how we got started. But I think I made it.
Thankfully, you said yes.
Yeah, I know. That would have. But we already had our license and everything, but it was just a surprise. And so I would like for my husband to step in and talk about maybe what he may not have been looking because I wasn't looking. I don't think either one of us were looking. We just met each other. But he has some interesting things about the kind of women he liked. At least that's what he told me anyway. So maybe he can tune in on this.
I'm here by default because I was told I would have to sleep on the sofa if I didn't. Hey guys, forgive me. But anyhow, we met at the Congressional Black Caucus, and it was what, 3,000 or 4,000 people there.
10,000.
10,000. I ran into Sheila every day. Every day I would run into her every day, and I'd hit on her. Because I was just up there catching fish and releasing, so I hit on her. I hit on the guys a couple of times. She didn't want to have nothing to do with me, and then I just asked her. I said, "Hey, so what does a guy got to do to talk to you?" And then she just kind of looked at me and gave me a pass, and so we started talking. But we did a 5-year. I would travel back and forth to visit her, and it's just the way that she treated me that really made me jump over the broom per se. But I think guys, once you get a certain age, you know what you don't want. So you kind of know by default what you do want by elimination. And so I think what Sheila brought to me was peace of mind. And she's truly a helpmate. And I own my own company. So we live here in Vegas 6 months out the year, and then we live in Atlanta. And she helped me get all my books together. She says, "The only thing you need, you're not organized." And she helped me put all that together. And
I call myself his administrative assistant.
Yeah. But that's our story. And she just was a different person. What really caught me, though, I came to Chicago one time. She says, "Why don't you come visit me?" So I came to Chicago and we checked into the hotel. And the girls at the front desk kept laughing and just looking at me, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? So when I got to the room, Sheila had took a list of everything that I talked to about her on the phone. I said one day I was eating a honey bun, which I wasn't supposed to eat, but she said, "What are you eating? You're smacking in my ear, a honey bun." I was drinking some wine one night. She says, "What do you drink?" I said, "I drink port wine. I eat it with Gouda cheese, blah, blah, blah." She had a gift basket on the desk when we got in the room. She said, "Here's all of your favorite things, and I hope I'm one of yours." And it just blew me away. It just blew me away, because, usually the guy is always up front, paying for everything, doing everything, and trying to swoon the lady. And she just knocked me off my feet when she did that, because she had been paying attention to what I was talking to her about over all the years, and presented me with this basket, and the rest is history.
Okay, so what is the one fun thing that you told me? See, over 18 years, of course, we've grown, but you told me about the last piece of chicken.
Yeah, she's the last piece of chicken. You know how you go to a dinner or at someone's house, and then somebody says, because everybody's eating to the point that they're just, full. And then somebody says, "Does anybody want this last piece of chicken?" And so I just called her the last piece of chicken. And, because you eat it anyway, because, you're full already, but it's that it tastes so good. And it's like this last piece of chicken. And that's why I call it the last piece of chicken.
In other words, Sheila, he wanted more.
Yeah, I wanted more. Okay.
But that's a little bit about us guys.
Okay, great. And how about you, Tracy and Frederick?
Well, how we met was his best friend is my best friend too. And she had been trying to get us together for maybe a year or so. His business was booming. I was a full-time college kid. We didn't have time. One time her mom was sick and she's like, "I just want my friends to get together for dinner." And I'm like, okay. I went out to eat. My hair was a mess and I was in some sanctified jeans. Holy. And we went about 10 minutes out, and she says, "Oh, by the way, we're going to go meet Fred." And I was like, no. And she's laughing about it. And I thought, oh, well, I won't ever see him again. He gets out of his truck, and I'm like, restaurant he's sitting across from, and it's just like he's just so gorgeous. And we went on a date 2 days later. I would say 2 months in, I knew. He surprised me because I took him home. And it's funny, I tried to take him home the first time, and my dad was like, "Nah, not ready to meet him yet. Your man picker's broke." And I was like, "No, we got to come home. Either we're coming home or we're coming to a hotel." He said, "Bring him." I'm asleep. He is upstairs asking for my hand in marriage to my parents. 4 months later, no, right? 4 months later, he proposed, and less than 5 days, less than 7 months, we got married. And it's 8 years, and we are still
newlyweds. Yeah, we're still newlyweds. Newlyweds.
Beautiful.
It was definitely I call it a blind-sided date for real. I was not expecting it. Neither was I interested, because I was in a space to where I was really content on where I was in life. And I remember us sitting down at that table that day. We were talking, and it was just a great conversation. I was admiring her little dimples and her smiles and stuff like that. But this is what really caught my eye. When our friend was across from me, and Tracy was across from me, and we were talking. All of a sudden, Tracy got cold, so she needed to get up and go outside to get a jacket. Well, that gave me an opportunity, because while she got up and walked out, part of me was looking at our friend, and the other part of me was those sanctified jeans. and everything was good. Put it from there. Everything was great. It was great. It was great from there on. But us coming together was a good thing. Now let me share with you, if you don't mind, some of the things that I was looking for at that particular time. I was in my mid-50s. Now, go back for a moment. I remember my sister and niece, we were on our way to church one day, and they took out this pad, and they started writing down the things that I was supposed to be looking for in a woman, in a wife. So they were trying to hook me up. So they started my list. And eventually I added to this list the things. The things they put on there were equally yoked, spirit, body, soul, and mind. And they just went on and on. But here's something that as I settled down, I really began to take serious and look at. I looked at my position and I wanted to look at compatibility. First of all, I was a father and I had children. So I began to look at friends that had children, not just children, but children my same age. Why? Because I wanted to see her parental skills. I wanted to see if she had a relationship with her children, because they would tell me if she had a relationship to her children, there would possibly be a chance that she would have a relationship with mine as well. That was important to me. It was also important to me, family. I'm very family oriented. That's why I wanted to meet her family. I wanted to see her relationship in reference to her father, her mother, her siblings, to see the type of relationship so that there wouldn't be any problems with her in reference to my relationship as well. Relationships was everything to me, and I didn't want what we would call drama. And last but not least, another thing that I really looked at, I wanted to see how she was, or how women were in reference to their exes.
Okay.
I wanted to know how they reacted when they talked about their exes.
And I got exes.
If there was forgiveness or if there were issues, because if there was unforgiveness or issues, chances are if I got with her, I'd probably end up paying for the things that he did.
Wow. Wow.
So I wanted to know the type of relationships that she had with all her exes and how she stood with them. Because with me, those three things right there, they were extremely important because you're going to have to live with that the rest of your life. And I wanted as much peace as possible in all of those areas. And it's been good.
Oh, that's
Thank
so
you.
good. That's awesome. That is so awesome. Thank you, Frederick.
Thank you.
Ladies out there, you taking notes, ladies out there, you better be taking notes. Thank you. That was so good. Well, I guess it's our turn.
Right. Right.
Well, we're kind of the newlyweds in the group. We just got married in 2022. We also met online, Sheila, and I don't know if you said you guys met online, but we had a long distance relationship. That's what you said. So we had a long distance relationship. Me being we met when I was living in Austin for a little bit, but he was in California, and then I went back to New York, and we started a long distance relationship. And I think being mature, you're not as needy. We know who we are, so that helped. And I'll let him take it away in a second. But ladies, just don't give up so quickly. I didn't love his pictures, but then when we talked on video, I was like, ooh. So give guys a chance, and that's all I'll say. We dated online for 4 years, and we got married 5 years in, right? About 5 years.
Yeah, about 5 years. Yeah.
So it takes a while. We weren't like in a rush. We were getting to know each other, and it just worked out well. So take it away.
Right, right. Well, I like what you said, Dano, about knowing what you don't want. I think that's really important. And actually, I think that's more than 50% of the formula.
Right.
Because, and I know a lot of guys do, and women probably, write down, what they want in a mate. And that's good. That's really good. But I think some people get too hung up on the specifics, like certain height, maybe, or a certain look or whatever. And I think you can be surprised what's out there that, you didn't expect. So I think you need to be a little open-minded when it comes to what you do want. And Lena and I think we hit it off pretty quickly when we met. That's important, at least to have that friendship. And we became friends very quickly. And because it was a long distance relationship, it kind of forced us to get to know each other better, because we were talking on the phone. We weren't, in physical contact with each other. We were able to go on traditional dates and things like that. So we just video chatted for the longest time, and slowly got to know each other. And in our case, we didn't really think it was going to go anywhere because of the distance. We just kind of assumed that this probably wasn't going to last, but we liked each other enough that we wanted to spend some conversation with each other. And then we just let nature take over. And we got to know each other and developed a love for one another even before we met. We didn't meet for 7 months. It was all video chatting. And she was in Austin, like she mentioned, and said she was going to go back to New York. So
I tried to end it too.
she did. She goes, I don't think this is going to go anywhere anyway. And I'm letting you know I'm going back to New York. So that even makes it worse. So, she was giving me the brush off. She was. But I wasn't having it. So I said, well, no harm in me coming out to meet you before you go. So, and that kind of shocked her because I think she wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't, but it also showed. It also showed his commitment, ladies. You'll know when men are into you if they take those steps. But go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, I flew out and met her, and it was just a short trip. It was maybe 3 or 4 days, I think, but it was long enough
to see chemistry.
You see, there was some chemistry there. That's important, And one of the things I really loved about her was that she was just honest and open. She wasn't, often when we meet somebody and we want to impress them, we show them our best sides and only talk about the good things and all that stuff. But she actually kind of opened up her closet, so to speak, and told me some of, just things. We all, our camera keeps falling over. We all, people of our age, we're going to have a history. So don't try to hide that. That's one of the things I would suggest is just be very open and just lay it out there because it's going to come up. So you might as well put it out there so that no one can say later, well, I didn't know this or I didn't know that. If I had known, maybe I wouldn't have, gone forward with this. So she was very honest with me. That helped me be very honest with her. And we built our foundation on honesty. And I think that was very important. And we both are believers, so we have that in common. We have a lot of family things in common. Though we have differences, we have a lot of commonality as well. So we just built on the best of those things. Yeah.
One last thing that you were going to mention before, I want to remind you about women being themselves and not putting on or putting up or adding.
Yeah, I mean, in the same light, just being themselves. I think women and men need to be themselves. Don't play a role that you think the other one is going to like. Just be yourself and
look
I am
yourself.
who I am. Take it or leave it. And I think that's the best thing to do. Because
I think that one of the things that as you grow older, that you need to, like you pointed out, that you need to let go of some of that heavy stuff, because you're older, you've gone through a lot of things, and the most thing you have that I did in terms of my husband, I looked at how he treated me, and I looked at his family, his mom, his dad, and his children and everything, and I've noticed the relationship that he had with his mom was a special relationship. So he told me in the beginning that he was spoiled. So I was ready for the spoils. and he really was spoiled. But you have to, my point in saying that is you have to be able to know that you're going to be able to handle the things that may not be popular with you, or maybe you may not even like them. So you have to be able to handle those things because you can't expect a person to change. And so it worked out really great with his mom and I. And I thought that was really good that he was honest up front, like you said, up front. And that worked for me.
Well, one thing my mom told me, she said, I really like her. I said, what, Mom? She said, I really like her. I said, why? She said, well, she told me in private, she said, Mrs. McCoy, I would never come between you and your son. And I was like, wow, you pulled a Trump card out, okay? you slapped it on the table, the big joker. I was like, wow. So my mom really liked that because me and my mom had a special relationship. And then one thing that I will piggyback on is that Sheila said when I was hitting on her and we finally got her corralled and we're sitting there and we're talking at the table. So she says, can I ask you a question? And I says, okay. She's going to ask me what kind of job I got, how much money I make, what kind of car I drive. She asked me, what church do I go to? And I was like, what? And she said, is not an answer. I was like, oh, wow. And so I wasn't going to church at the time, but now I've been licensed. I've done about 15 sermons at my church. And it's just amazing how that question she asked me, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
How life takes you to another place.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But that's because we also, I think I attribute this to maturity too, is we also can see things that our eyes are more open, I should say that. And some people may have been attracted to different things. Like my husband told me, he said, well, this is our beginning. He said, I really don't normally talk to women with gray hair. So I'm thinking like, well, you know what? You better get ready, baby, because you are not going back, okay? But
she called it silver couture.
couture, yeah.
She's called it silver couture, but I'm a visual person like most guys. I'm visual, and like you said, when she walked away from you, you got to really see the view that you wanted to see, and that's what I did. That's caught my eye first. I'm like, okay, who's this right here? So that's
That's great. Does anybody else have anything they want to add? Frederick, you have something else you want to add?
To the women, it's important, I think, when you're out there looking to have a sense of security as who you are. And what I mean by that, don't have to be desperate. I encourage men and women, if we're looking for someone, prepare ourselves to be that type of person that we want to connect with.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
In the off season before I met Tracy, I went through a lot of changes and got a lot of assistance because I wanted to be a better person. Because our ultimate goal is when we do say we do, it is a joy to be able to do whatever we can in that other person's life to help make their life as good as possible. We can't do that when we're so focused on ourselves. It's
Right.
important to understand who we are and just be secure knowing that you have value, whether they see it or not. It's just a matter of being in the right eyes at the right time. And through this process, I learned this thing called content.
Right.
Whatever state we're in, because there's always something that we can learn as we grow and as we go. And during those years, he was preparing me for her, and it was about a purpose. And Sheila said something about a word called change. I've learned something in relationships. The only one that you can change is you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Spend a lot of time, and you can waste a lot of time trying to change that person to be what you want to be. One thing I've learned in this relationship, when things come up and I have a question about it, I ask him, is it her and is it me? Pretty much, it's always me. Because we can only work on us.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes relationships successful is continue to work on oneself. Each person work on oneself, and the relationship will become what you desire it to be.
Right.
That's beautiful.
That's a good point because, people we all have friends that are going through difficult relationships. And if you listen to them and let them talk. A lot often they'll just talk about the complaints they have about their partner, and they never bring up anything that they did wrong or could improve. And I'll flat tell them, you know what? Don't worry about her if it's a guy I'm talking to, which it probably would be, is don't worry about her. You work on yourself. You know, you reflect what you want to get first. So, and I did that myself. I mean, I know when, before I met Lena, I worked on myself a lot. And I wasn't in a big hurry to get into another relationship until I felt that I had done some of the healing and some of the correction that I needed to do first.
Good.
Don't be in a big hurry if you're out there looking for a mate, because, you know, if you know you have issues and that you should be working on some things, I would work on those first. And then you'll reflect that in the mate that you do end up with.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of being mature, you know, working on yourself, knowing, hopefully knowing what you need to work on so you can be your best self before the next relationship. And one more thing you were talking about, if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to, but you were saying you wanted to talk about this, about how women, you know, with the fake boobs and the fake everything, that men don't always want that. And I wanted you to.
No, I think, you know, I'm sure women want a good man. They want a man, and they want a good man. They want a man that, you know, doesn't hold things that are just, you know, fake as important. You know, this world encourages that. Let's face it. You know, it's all about the look and all that. So if you're going to put on a fake front by, you know, overdoing it with the makeup and overdoing it with the way you dress and the way you present yourself, getting a car you can't even afford, but you want that look, then you're not going to find a good guy, because a good guy will look past all those things that you just spent all that time and effort on anyway. And it just and now he's got to navigate through it to see the real you. So just present the real you in the first place. And
I wanted to ask the guys, because this is a question I always get from a lot of women when I'm doing seminars or workshops and things of that sort. Women want to know, where do you meet guys? Particularly, you know, they like, where do you meet a guy? And no, I have my things that I say, but I'd like to hear from you guys. What would you say? Where you meet good guys?
I would probably recommend starting with the things that she likes.
Good.
If she likes to go out to dinner, if she likes to go to the park, if she likes to go to the beach or to restaurants, plays, whatever, go start doing the things that you enjoy doing rather than trying to go where you think that the fish are. Go
right.
do the things that you enjoy doing, and there's a possibility that you'll probably meet. For instance, if you are a churchgoer, go to church. You'll probably meet someone, and right off the bat, you have something in common in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
That's good advice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good one, because I hear people saying a lot of different things, and I always tell people, you know, kind of similar. I just tell them to write down things that you like, you know, and focus on that, because sometimes we focus too much on getting that one person, as opposed to focus on developing ourselves. So if I like to go to the movies, I pick Tuesday afternoon and I might go to the movies, but you have to enjoy yourself first. And I don't mind if my husband doesn't want to go out to dinner. He knows I'll just go out to dinner, you know. But you know, so you have to have your separate life, and then you have to have your life together. But that's a good point you said, to keep doing the things that you like doing. And I'd also add, you may like a conference, certain conferences that you like, or just anything. But that is a big question that I get from a lot of people. What you think, huh?
Well, yeah, I think like anything,
Daniel, can you lean over towards
I,
Sheila?
I, th- I think I think like anything, when opportunity presents itself, wherever you're at, you kind of have uh, eyes that see what you want and you recognize what you want, and so wherever you're at, that's an opportunity to. But I would say most women ask me, well, how do you get taken off the market? What happened? And I says, here's the question you should ask every man. Now, I don't care if he's spiritual, religious, or whatever. That's not what my point is. Ask him one of those questions that he ain't never heard before, and that's what church you go to. That way, you can just pinpoint, does he believe in a higher
Right?
power, or where's his
Right.
focus at? And it just caught
Right.
me off guard. Why would you ask me what church I go to? It put me in a place like, where's my spirituality? Now, like I say, you'd have to say Baptist or Muslim or whatever. I'm just saying, pinpoint where this guy is at
Right.
spiritually and emotionally, because that question blew my mind. I've asked a lot of questions, but that one there, what church do you go to? I'm like, my gosh. That lets me know, well, she was spiritual. Because at the end of the day, you want to be equally yoked. To a
Right.
certain,
You do.
you got to be equally yoked at a certain period. I mean, I can't say I'm going to church and you say I'm going to watch TBN.
Right.
I can't be saying I want to spend money and you say you want to save money.
Right.
So I'm just saying, equally yoked to a certain extent. You don't have to cross all the dots cross all the dots and all the T's, but at least get 8 out of 10 out of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was important for us, I know.
Mm-hmm.
That was a deal breaker if we didn't at least, somewhat believe in the same things. And as it turned out, we were very connected in that way. And that just takes one more problem that might come up out of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to deal with that. Like you said, trying to change the person. If they're not a believer and you are, then you have to deal with, do you want to try to change them, or are you going to accept them the way they are and all that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What
May I bring it?
about, I
Yeah.
know it's almost time for us to go, but I saw something that came across, and I didn't see the whole thing, but the person was saying they give themselves a year before they start dating. I didn't see the whole thing. I don't know if you guys could see it or not, but that's another thing that I think we got too many rules.
Right.
Okay, it's too many rules. So at some point you have to, break it down, because you can rule yourself out of a relationship, uh, or rule yourself out of that one special person that could have been.
Right.
Then you're saying, if I coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
Right. I know Frederick has a question, but if anybody has questions, since we're going to wrap it up, you can put it in the chat and we'll try to answer you after we finish shortly. Frederick, what did you want
There's
to
one
say?
final point that I want to put on the table that we don't talk about, and that's the word sex. Prior to our marriage, Tracy and I were
Sex.
both on a journey for celibacy. And it actually, we didn't do the do until after we said we do.
Too many people take that route, but
So this what it did quickly. It gave us an opportunity to know each other even more intimately.
Right.
The mind, because when we do just that, then that's what we focus at.
Right.
And you leave out the most important thing.
I'm gonna make you feel good.
And it's all about feelings.
Yeah.
So we recommend if people can abstain from that and get to know the person for who they really are.
Heart and
Sex should be
mind.
like icing on the cake.
That's right. Right. That's right. That's a good point, Frederick. Good job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Several months.
Yeah, we waited several months.
That's good. We couldn't wait
But-
that long. That's what we said we do.
but keep sex alive in your marriage too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an important thing. It's a loving part of your relationship. So it is important, but it shouldn't be the most important thing. No.
Yeah. Well, we waited several months too because we we were
Well,
we
yeah.
was in California,
Yeah.
so it was
Yeah.
we had
Great.
to. Does anybody see any questions? My phone is a little bit of a distance away from
I
me.
saw somebody asked if us ladies were triplets. No, we're not related. We're sisters from another mother and mister.
We're spirited sisters,
That's right.
spirited sisters.
Yes. Yes. Anything else? Any folks down there? Let me just try to see. I can't see any other.
Yeah, I think it's Rose and I can't see it. So
Yeah, I saw someone made the comment that there are no men in the church, but I guess you could say sometimes, and for those of you that are not spiritual, don't rule us out. I mean, we're all a house of something, and you're going to find your common house wherever you are. And
Right.
so, for those who are spiritual, you are the church. So wherever you are planted, you know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
look at it that way.
Yeah.
and
Right.
someone asked, what dating site were you on, Adelina?
I have a free download. If you click the link in my bio, I list where we met and a few other sites, plus a few dating tips. So go ahead and click the link in my bio, and it'll say free download, and there's information there for you. I did see a question a person said, and I can't remember who it was. Can we date while we're healing? And I would say yes, as long as you know what you're working on and as long as you are continuously working on it. I mean, that's my opinion. Anybody else?
Well, I know when I first started dating, I didn't want to jump into another serious relationship. But I did want companionship.
Yes.
So my whole goal when I went out on a date was just to have a good time with a lady and have some good conversation. And if that was our first and last date, so be it.
Right.
You know, I got to meet someone new, exchange a few ideas. So what if we didn't hit it off and we end up, married or something? That was fine with me. And I think that's also important is not to be so desperate. It's like, when you don't have a car and you're shopping for a car, you might pick the wrong one just because you're desperate. And it's the same thing in relationships. If you're desperate to have one, you might jump into the wrong one. So just, be patient. Be patient. It'll be worth it.
And if you're healing, continue to work on yourself. I mean, you don't have to show up so broken, but just the fact that you're working on yourself is a positive thing, which is really good. So,
And it might
yeah.
help you to heal a little faster just by talking with other people and learning about them. It might even enlighten you to some mistakes that you made that you weren't even aware of just by talking with others, and they might reflect something that your last relationship also reflected, and you said, oh, well, maybe I was wrong in that way.
Yeah. It could be therapeutic. It could be therapeutic. Yeah.
Yes, it could be.
And when you're dating, also take in consideration, look for a friend rather than a mate.
Don't take
Right.
everybody to the altar. Everybody is not meant to take to the altar.
Right.
Season, life, or reason. Figure it
Right.
out.
Yep, very important. Yep, I agree.
All right.
Well, I think someone just put in there, a broken man is hard to work with. So I think that goes both ways.
Sure.
I don't think it's just a broken man. I think a broken person could be hard to work with. But I think that I agree with David that you should go out. You shouldn't say I'm not going to date anymore, because I think we think the wrong thing about dating anyway. Dating is to just get to know the person, to have great conversation, have fun, and just like I told someone, I said I may not have been interested in people that I date, but they had good conversation or whatever. But you have to, be open to having fun. Not,
Right.
well, is he the one or is she the one? You
Right.
know.
Right. And I remember I went on a lot of coffee dates. And, there are a lot of women who maybe were married for a long time and then never dated for like 5 years. Going on coffee dates kind of gets you acclimated to being around male
Yeah.
company again. So, I would suggest that don't live in your shell. Like he said, it doesn't mean you're going to marry the person you have coffee with. Just go have coffee.
Yeah.
And it works, it doesn't work, see you next time or not. It's okay. So
And I think that you have a good point about just going to coffee. Don't try to go to a 5-course dinner because we have a friend that said he knew the lady just wanted a meal,
mm,
and he wound
Right.
up paying $130. So he said it's not that I mind paying $130. It's just that it was clear that she
Yeah.
just wanted a free meal. So if you're looking for, he knew that right off, and he was an
wow.
older guy, older than us really, and he knew that right off. So people, they know, they see, so just do the coffee thing. I think that's really great, and then you could talk. You don't have to worry about somebody serving you, interrupting you, saying, "Is there anything else? Is there anything else?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good idea.
Yep. That's a good point.
Yeah, so okay, we're gonna end this. I guess if anybody wants more of this, you can let us know in the chat. But this was really good, ladies, right? Don't you think? I love having a
Glad
Spanish.
we finally did it.
We've been talking.
We've been
This
talking
book
about
on
it a while.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you, each and every one of you. My husband, Dave,
Well,
Frederick, Dano, thank you for taking the time to weigh in. It's really important. This is a public service announcement, ladies out there, so take it, take it and run. And you can follow all of us, folks. We have Sheila's Fit 50 Plus. Hey, Sheila. So follow her, follow Tracy, Unapologetically Gray. And y'all know me, Fly Granny BK for Brooklyn. So again, thank you all of the men and happy Valentine's Day and
yeah.
Galentine's Day. Whatever you do,
Yes.
just sending love out to you.
Thank you. As Don Cornelius used to say, what is it? Love, peace,
So,
and soul.
all right, thank you
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
We'll
Bye
chat
bye.
soon. Let's just do a quick thing for the put our heads together for the cover photo of our live. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Happy
Okay.
Valentine's
Bye,
Day.
Bye
everybody.
bye.
Good to meet y'all.
Nice to meet all of you. Bye.
Bye bye.